And welcome back. Today we are flying out absolutely nothing because we are going to be looking at some clips, review them and see what you could do differently. We are looking at, I'm not even going to pronounce that, Metra in his F2G because that's all he flies basically. And he's up against 3 guys on his 6. Now the Junker 188 is actually not that big of a threat on its own, but he's accompanied by a TAL 152H, a BF-109, it's probably going to be a K4, maybe a G10, but in any case, he's going 700, he can probably outrun these guys on the deck because, well, he's in the F2G. But I don't know the energy stage. As you can tell, I've paused it on the first frame, so I know as much as you do at the moment. If you want to partake in this kind of thing, I have a Discord channel server. I have a channel set up, it's called Content Review. You can put your clips in there, preferably a YouTube link of you dying, of you losing. I don't want to see Thunder Show clips, I don't want to see flat spin kills, I don't care about all that stuff. We're here trying to learn something. I might get some things wrong in the process. It's a little bit different when you're watching a video, but I'm gonna try to review this as fairly as possible. So I haven't seen the video yet. I get some people to pick out the clips for me, and doing so we can make it so that, well, I'm as biased, as least or as little biased as I could be. First of all, thanks to all my patrons, and if you are looking to buy anything from the Gaijin store, I have a discount link in the description. No decal yet, it's being worked on, I'll let you know when it's done. So let's get right into this. TAL 152H and the K4 are catching him, they have some altitude. In the very long run, he can probably outrun these guys, but this TAL 152 is going to keep its speed very well. He's also forced on the aggressive here because tickets are down, he needs to kill these guys. He goes into a turn, dodges the shot and then continues on for the K4. Good call. Here I probably wouldn't go for the K4. I probably just gun down the bomber and he would be done and gone instantly from the match. Forced to turn because the TAL 152 instantly turns for him. Rightfully so. K4 then comes in from the top and now you are in this kind of position. You don't want to be here. It's 3v1. You can't really help it. People ask me, what do you do when you are in a 3v1 with 2 or 3 guys directly on your 6? And the real question here, or the real answer here, is basically nothing. What you can do here is, and he's probably going to do it looking at his trajectory, he's going to go up. He's going to abuse his fact that he's going to keep its speed well and that he has a good climb rate. And they are going a little bit quicker, so they will overshoot, except the TAL 152H then brakes, probably throttle drops, uses his flaps, but he's now so slow that he can't actually pitch up for him. Metra notices this and instead of going for the K4 he does the right thing, goes back down and he's gonna go shoot at the 152. Gets a crit in, sets him on fire. That's very good, but he might put it out considering it is a TAL 152 and now he needs to go on the defensive with the K4. But for now it's looking pretty good. But I already know why this clip got selected, so I have a bad feeling about this gameplay. Junker gets behind him, K4 overshoots, and the 152 of course puts its fire out. Mainly the 152 here isn't really a threat, and a 1v1 with the K4 is definitely something you can win in this plane. However, he does turn a little bit better, as long as it's not sustained. Especially stall fighting is kind of dangerous, but you can basically keep pulling up indefinitely. He's gaining position on the K4, he's slowly getting behind him. And here, do you want to pitch up for the K4? Yeah, probably. But you could also go for the bomber right now, because it's again just an easy kill. You just want him to be gone. You don't want to deal with those gunners. You don't want to deal with a bomber that's just floating behind you as you are engaging someone else. And at the end of the day, you ended up at the exact same position. Metra is forced to cut his weapon off because he's starting to overheat. And now he's on the defensive again against the K4. Turns a little bit too soon. Or actually at the right time, sorry. When I say too soon, I mean that he actually does it at the right time. So he starts turning, not too late. He starts turning the second the K4 dives in. So now he's going to deny the shot. He's going to be able to pull up a little bit. It's very sketchy. If he has very good aim, this might bite you in the ass. And then the TAL 152 comes back. But he's very badly damaged. Probably can't pitch up. So I would probably risk it. Yeah, he cannot actually do it. And now you are stuck in a fight with the K4. The problem with the F2G is at very low speeds. Well, it does this when you try to use your rudder. The stall is kind of rough. Also, it overheats very badly. And then he gets crit by the bomber. And this is what I meant with you want to get the bomber out of the way, because he can just float around you and use his gunners. Very annoying, and at this point it is basically game over. The K4 has angles on him. He's not able to aim at all. Shoots a little bit of a silhouette around him. And if he wasn't damaged by the bomber, he definitely could have won this. He probably should have just focused on the bomber. Nicely fought. Just, I think you discounted the bomber just a little bit too much. People see bombers and they think, well, I mean, I can just dogfight him, right? Well, the Junker 188 is actually extremely deadly, especially when you are already in a dogfight with someone else. 20mm turret on the top, very, very maneuverable. And now you are just dead in the water. Not much you can do. So again, if you had against the Junker 188, I think in 2 separate occasions, you could have gotten away with this. Other than that, in terms of the fighter versus fighter, pretty good. Well, except for the part where you just died. Let's get right into the next one. So here we have Red Nuclear in a BF-9 G6, and looking at the title, it's going to be the Key 84 Co. I'm looking at a Spitfire currently, but we should be introduced to the enemy relatively soon here. Already spot a Key 84 on the horizon. That is probably the guy that's going to be screwing our day in a second here. There he is, 2 kilometers in. You are slow, and that's a plane you don't really want to dogfight. I don't even think that going head on here is a bad idea. You can't really win this fight. That was probably your one shot you are going to get, as long as he doesn't mess it up. He then goes vertical, but the Key 84 is going to have much more airspeed, and he's going to just fall on top of you if you do this. And at this altitude in the G6, not sure if you entirely want to do this. So he's going to force us into a little bit of a stall fight. The K4, the thing is, right, even if you have more engine power, this guy will outturn you, will outstall you. And because of those 2 metrics, it's very easy for him to pull up into you, even if he doesn't have more engine power. At this altitude, I am not entirely sure who has more power, but I'm going to give the advantage to the Key 84 anyway, because he just has a much lower stall speed and a much better turn. But he flies away. Not entirely sure what he's trying to do, and then he turns in way too late. And he's going to get a shot here probably, or barely. Yeah, you could have killed him right there. But I want you to look. Oh, he's using the 30mm, aren't you? Yeah, that's a bit rough. So imagine if he just had kept turning. He didn't fly straight. Because right here he's flying straight. He's giving you a lot of position. All this time he's flying straight. You are getting your nose on target. So instead of him flying away first, he should have just turned instantly. But he didn't. So at this point you're doing the right thing. You're going to try to get the shot in. But I'm not sure if you're actually thinking this through, or if you're just very much, how do you call it, greedy for the kill, and you just keep pitching into him. Because right now, it looks like you're just pitching into him for the sake of it. Key 84 then goes down. 109 goes very slow, it stalls on top, and he's going to give you another angle. Key 84 should have been sending this clip in, to be honest, at this point. Because he's playing it much worse than you are. And I'm sorry if you're watching this, the good pitchy, but it is what it is. And the problem here is you keep forcing these very slow fights. You keep trying to go vertical. You are in a 109. I understand that you're trying to use your engine power, but the G6 isn't particularly great at low altitude. And here you basically stalled yourself out. And this is what I meant. But if you hadn't gone straight, this would have happened here as well. And because you are very slow here, you're basically stalled out. You're going 150 kilometers an hour, which is abysmally slow, at least IS. In the time that it takes you to recover from this stall, he's going to be pitching up into you, and he's going to have a very easy shot killing you. There we go. Instantly crits you. And now you are in a very bad spot. Here going up is fine. He is underneath you. He just overshot. He is still turning. You can probably close the gap here a little bit. But then you go vertical again. You are already crit, so it doesn't really work anymore. And you're going to end up stalling right in front of him. Is he going to hit you again? No. He's probably using a controller. Can't really fault him. But now you are very slow with a Key 84. You probably want to throttle drop here. You want to get behind him. You do not want to stay in front of him. You're trying to pick up speed and you're trying to force a vertical. But forcing a vertical against a plane like that, especially when you are crit, it's just not really going to work. This Key 84 has no idea what he's doing, however. And he's going to break off. And then loop back onto your ass. There goes your flaps, because they do not retract at all on this plane. That is understandable. You are probably stressing a little bit right now. You're trying to get this guy off you. And this Key 84 is just not engaging you. This fight should have been over about 2 minutes ago. But the Key 84 has absolutely no clue what the hell he's doing. Pretty funny to watch, to be honest. You're turning in. That's fine. Probably the only thing you can do at this point. But you wanted to basically ignore this position altogether. What you wanted to do here, especially at the start, like right here. You don't want to go vertical here. You want to set up this fight entirely different. You don't want to force it very slow spell speed. If you see him fly away, sure, go for it. At this point, I could say maybe. You're going to get this shot because he flies away. But the second this has passed, you want to pitch the hell down. You want to pick up speed and you want to start fighting on your own terms. This is not a winnable fight. You're lucky that he is absolutely abysmal. The thing is, he's abysmal and he's probably still going to be killing you. So, you turn in, just as predicted, and then he goes vertical. And again, because he goes vertical, he's going to end up giving you a shot. Unfortunately for you, you are crit, so you are not going to be getting it. But this guy is playing it absolutely horribly. This is the first kind of sentient thing he has done. You might be able to pitch in. He just goes over your nose. And now you are in an even worse spot, because he's right above you. You're only going 340, you have a crit wing and you don't have flap. So you can't really do anything. At this point it is a matter of delaying, and you said that in your thing as well. You said your bad choice left you damage, so you try to buy yourself as much time as possible, so that a friendly could actually come in and save you. Which is understandable, which is why you want to dive now, which, oh, you are doing, which is great. I thought you were just setting up for a counter-attack. But yes, you want to drag this guy low. If you cannot kill someone, especially in props, if you can't really... Holy shit, the replay system is so ass. But you want to bring him low as down low as fast as possible. And you want to do it by wasting as much of his energy as possible. If you get him very low, but he's still going like 700 or 800 kilometers an hour, he can just pitch back up and your teammate is still left out to dry. Here the Kia D4 does the right thing, he stalls you out. And he's going to go into a horizontal. You don't want to pitch up straight, because you're going to end up just hanging right in someone's gun sight. But by going horizontal, you actually keep some momentum. And you are going to be able to just pull out of his guns. But again, you want to go into a dive now. Preferably towards a teammate. Because right now, you can't really do anything. Teammate is coming in, but it's also bringing two of the bodies of the enemy. Which isn't exactly ideal. Yeah, you're just gonna try to cancel roll. You're just gonna try to stay out of his guns as much as possible. You can't even see anything. You're gonna try to get some shots in. It looks like you only have 13mm left. You also cooked your engine. At this point, it's basically done deal. You're just gonna be floating in the air. I'm not gonna waste too much time on this part, because there's virtually nothing you can do. Your teammate is gonna come in to help, but I'm not sure if he's actually doing that much. Is your teammate anywhere near you even? No, he's just going to keep going vertical. At this point he has you by the balls. There's really nothing you can do. This is also not a fight that's very enjoyable to begin with. Donnier comes in. He might be able to save you. Nah, he misses and then he dies. Very much unfortunate. The thing is, this is a fight that is very rough to begin with. The Kia D4 Co versus the G6 is not a fight you want to be taking. But you can't really do much about it, because the way you enter this fight is kind of out of your control. The main thing is here... Be aware of it, be aware of him coming in, and don't stall yourself out. You want to start picking up speed, don't even look back at the Spitfire. The second you see this Kia D4, you want to pick up your speed. I would level out right here, dive underneath him, pitch up for a head-on. And the head-on is basically the only chance you are going to be getting. The thing is, you only have the 30mm in the nose. It's not going to do you much good in the head-on. But yeah, rough fight. The things that I said were kind of nitpickings, because in the end of the day... This is a fight you can't really win. The best way is probably try to reverse him or try to force high speed fights. But the Kia D4 is just kind of better than you. But you don't want to do this. You are stalling yourself out. Give him a lot of opportunity to pull back into you. You're just lucky that the Kia D4 had run away here. If he had pulled in here, you would have already been dead at the 47-second mark. Alright, on to the next one. We have apparently... Centurion Mark 1, survive. He is flying a Spitfire, looking at the thumbnail. Yes, he is. He says he is trying to dodge as much as he can. What can I do better in this situation? Spitfire Mark 5B versus 19 F4 G6 D13 and a P63. Feel free to roast me. Now that's a sentence I love to read. P9 on your 6, you turn in a little bit too late. And this is something that you want to keep in mind. I get it. You're trying to close the distance as much as possible because you are in a Spitfire. But at like 850 to 800 kilometers, 850 meters, you don't want to start turning when you start shooting. You want to basically start turning in a little bit earlier. It doesn't really hinder you too much. This is a minor thing. It doesn't really matter that much. BF-109 breaks off, you do the good thing, you do not follow. No use following him. He's gonna fly away, you are going to keep your speed like this. So, until now, pulled in a little bit late, minor thing. You still reacted to his shots, so you didn't really do anything wrong necessarily. Just be careful here that you don't tunnel vision on this 109. The 109 is 5 kilometers behind you. He does have some altitude, he will be able to pressure you. But, there we go. Guy on 6, or guy on 12, as well as on a, well, not 12, 2, and like R11. In front, you know. And you gotta turn around, because he turns around as well. And I get it, because you can turn this 1v1 into a 2v1. Keep looking around though, because you are looking behind you an awful little amount. And there might be people closing in on you right now. You go head on with the 109. You go full on dodge mode, which is fine, because you are in the Spitfire. You kind of want to bait this guy into a dogfight. You don't want to take the head on. But now, look behind us. 190 equal energy, equal altitude, but he is probably much faster. 109 that's out climbing you right now, and above you, and another 109 that's coming in, who is very much going to be out energying you as well. What do you do here? Well, first of all, look around. You have one teammate that's flying around and flying away. I can't really set. Oh, there we go. There is no team around here, so you are going to be mainly focusing on trying to dodge them, which is what you said. What could I have done differently? I would have told you, no, I will tell you, you don't want to be here. Like the second you see this guy behind you, you want to look forward and think to yourself, can I actually go into the direction I am flying in? And then you see this, you do not want to get underneath this blob of enemies. They are going to eat you alive. That's the main thing here, you don't want to be here. This is a very much shitty situation that you want to avoid altogether, but your team isn't looking very present. And I would probably try and dive a little bit, pick up some speed, try to get underneath my teammates, and this way if they go for me, my teammate can clean them up. If they go for the teammate, I have some breathing room. So we turn into the other 109. F4 is going for the teammate, and now I have both of them on my 6. Good so far. 190 diving on us, it's a D. That's unlucky. Man, that's a rough up tier. Turn in, dodge his shots, try to stay out of his nose, do the right thing. And now he overshoots, see if you can get a shot, and the second you notice you won't get one, do not tunnel vision on him. And you're not doing that, so you're doing the right thing so far. This is an unwinnable fight basically, unless they throw very, very hard. And you can tell by the way that they are flying, they are not full sending this fight. They keep breaking off, they keep disengaging, and they keep just their energy high. They are not trying to dogfight you. They are just trying to go as fast as possible while trying to get shots on you. Which is very annoying when you are in a plane like a Spitfire, because you are basically left at their mercy. Now, 190 is pretty far away. The 109 is within gun range. So you try to focus him down real quick. You try to get some shots in. The 190 isn't really behind you. And I do like that now, in this fight, you are actually being pretty aware. You keep looking behind you for the 190. You keep looking to the right for the guy that's below you, even though he is not really a threat. If you can get an easy pick hit, you want to do it right here, because you can turn this 3v2 into a 2v2, which is always ideal. 190 comes in, you're gonna start turning. This time you don't wait too long. Very rough to dodge at high speed, because the 190 can just roll over and pitch up into you. That's just a little bit of compression, a little bit annoying to get guns on. But now you are not looking behind. There we go, thank you very much. The 109 is flying into the opposite direction, but you can tell, and you aren't really looking at him. When you look behind you, what do you see? You see one guy, but you see two guys over here. He's probably right over your camera, and you're not really paying attention to him. You are looking around. Oh, there he is. You are looking for him. You are aware of him. My bad. You dodge him. I mean, at this point, you're starting to get very, very slow. These 109s and the 190s are just... I mean, at this point, you should be dead. So I'm not really going to put too much more emphasis on it. You're going to try to stay alive. You're going to roll out of the guns. Pull away from the G6. D13 is just running trains on you. You might be able to reverse him. At this point, I would say just full send it. And you are doing that exact same thing. And then the P63 comes in also. Yeah, this is game over. He goes for the other guy, luckily for you. But at this point, you are too slow. There's very little you can do. Yeah, you're just too slow to dodge. Like, it's 4v1 basically. They're all going for you. They're not really focusing on your friendly. The only thing, the real thing... What's that? Oh, that's still backgrounds. But yeah. You don't want to send for this guy, because you are both chasing the same dude. Now you can say, if you know you have good aim, you know you're going to kill him. I want to kill him right now so that both my teammate and me can turn around and focus on the guys behind us. So I get it, because you have some distance right now. Yeah, it's actually... I think that's the right thing. Because you can fly away to get up. There we go. Now you have 3 guys on your 6, but you're only going 360. Like, this is a done deal. The main thing here is, yeah, there's really nothing you can do here. I think you did the right thing once you got in the position, but you wanted to avoid it altogether. Once you get in that 2v4 kind of scenario, you didn't necessarily do anything horribly wrong. You are in a Spitfire, it's a Mark II, and there's not really much you can do. You can't catch these guys, you can't force anything on your own terms. They are forced to turn with you, and if they don't do that, you are just kind of boned. So you want to be avoiding the situation altogether. But then again, like, there's 4 of them, there's only 1 of your teammate. I think in the long run you would have lost this regardless. The only thing I can say is probably your mechanics. Like, predict a little bit better where they are going. Especially, I think it's like here on the deck, when that 190 overshoots. Like over here. Like, you see that he's overshooting. And he's rolling to the right, but he's already pulling to the left. So now you kind of mess yourself up. It's small things like that, but that's mostly the battle. If you look at the kind of war kind of deal. Like, I always say you can win the battle but not the war, and you can lose the battle and win the war. Not really me that says that, but you know, I use that phrase. And this is the exact same thing here. You can win this battle by predicting it a little bit better. I think your war strategy, so to speak, in the grand scheme of things, is pretty decent. It's mainly this, like, you are very much focused on this guy, and as you are looking over to him and only look at him, you kind of just glide yourself into the enemy team. Because you look forward and you see this. Like, at this point, you're done. Like, really, they have to start dogfighting you. They don't. They are playing it pretty cautiously. They're not trying to kill themselves, so to speak. And if they don't do that, you are going to be in a very rough spot. So altogether, focus a little bit on the small fights. Focus a little bit on your mechanics and your keyboard inputs and stuff like that. Predict where people are going. But in general, your judgment, pretty decent. Other than, of course, your awareness when you see the first enemy. You are very much too focused on this guy, and it did bite you in the end. Am I going to say you would have been able to win this fight, considering how they played it, how passively they played it, even though they had a numerical advantage? Probably not. Probably would have lost, myself or anyone included. Let's look at Splompf. Oh, what a nice name. Splompf. With the key 61. Oh boy, it's an entire ass. God fucking damn it. Please give me some timestamps. Okay, climbing in. I'm gonna be ignoring all of this. I do want to have a little bit of a... I do like that I have the entire clip, but this makes it very hard for me to actually find it, because I'm trying to do this live in one take, so that I'm not biased. So if you could include some timestamps if you do upload anything on YouTube, then that would be fantastic. Alright, you haven't shot your guns yet. You are waiting, you're looking around. There's also 2 guys on your left. This is good, right? You probably want to go down there and just clean these guys up so you can actually win the entire game. And it looks like you are going to be doing that. You are on the key 61, however. Not the best plane in the game, especially not the one with these shitty ass guns. And you can roast me. I know I forgot to use the flaps. We'll see about that. Flaps are very much not always necessary. Oh, the Asylum guy goes down as per usual. Amazing. We dive in. And you go for the guy that's going to give you the easiest time to get shots in. Fair play. Get some shots in. You just miss. I mean, that's just aim. So you go up. Are you going to put it all into altitude, or are you going to full send it for a dogfight? So far that's right. You just want to keep your altitude a little bit. Put all that speed back into altitude, and then you can start diving back on him. You have some numbers around as well, so they can't really pick up their own speed. If you are 1v1, you don't want to do that. You want to kind of full send it. But of course, that's not the scenario right now. You are actually kind of 1v1. And I believe that's the Yak tree that he is going to be dogfighting in a second. P51 then pitches up straight in front of him. It's a D20. It's a D... pardon me. D2... D20. Pardon me. That's just a very great plane. Oh, yeah, sorry. Level 7 crew. Now that's rough. Now that's real rough. Going for some AI. Understandable. Nice kill. Clap, clap. You don't want to put too much time into fighting these, because exactly this is what might happen. You might waste a lot of energy shooting down those AI planes, and then at the end of the day, guess what happens? You get a guy above you in a faster plane, especially when you're flying something bad. Now if you're flying something like the Yak-3U, the P-51H, stuff like that, the BI, well at BI you don't want to do it because you don't have the ammo for it, but with those kind of planes you can get away with it because you are able to equalize pretty handily and dogfight people even when you have an energy disadvantage. With this thing, not very likely. P-51 instantly turns around, extremely boring. So far, however, other than the AI shooting, I don't think you did anything wrong necessarily. And you have some teammates around, so it's not as... it's a nitpick, basically. But I'm waiting for the Yak-3. There he is. 109 on the deck. Now the Yak-3 here is definitely prime target. That's the guy you want to kill. The 109, I'm not too worried about. And of course the P-51 that's at altitude. He's going to be the biggest problem in the long run. But the Yak-3 is also very dangerous. He can dogfight with you, he is faster than you, he outclimbs you. He basically does everything better than you. The P-51 can simply run away. So the P-51 is going to be more annoying, but the Yak-3 will win. Will probably win for you. Now this is a head-on you don't really want to take. You pull out in time. A little bit sketchy. Are you going to pull in front of him? Yes, you do. And with this plane, I would say do it, because you will outturn him. It will bait him into taking the fight with you. Except he doesn't want to take it, and he dives to the deck. And at this point, the P-51, and it is a D-30, which means that it's a pretty good variant. The Yak-3 becomes my prime target. This guy right here. Because you can dive on him, you can take him down. But it will depend on what my teammate is going to do. I see this boo-boo guy. He's going to be diving in. The P-51 is going vertical. And he's going to be setting himself up for a very easy kill if he actually overcooks it. He doesn't, he goes head on again, but he's so occupied going head on with us that he actually gets himself blown up. Perfect. Right call so far. Nothing wrong in this fight. Yak-3 coming in. Yeah, probably you don't want to cut throttle, dude. That's the main thing. Okay. That's the first thing. It's not so much your flaps. Okay, this is okay. You switch targets to the guy that turns around. You probably would have died in that head-on if he hadn't been blown up. But, you know, whatever. We are going to be ignoring that because you asked about the Yak-3. You're going to be diving on the Yak-3. You have a pretty massive energy advantage here. You pull off, which is, it's fine. But now you are playing energy. You are playing energy. You are playing energy. Now you're trying to play position. You're going vertical. You're not whapping. And then you throttle down. Okay, so this... why this is a problem, or why this is going to get you killed, because you're playing two things at once. Do you want a full send to stay behind them, or do you want to play energy? Right now, playing energy would be the safest bet, and you will very much get away with it. I'm actually starting to doubt if this thing even has web, because I've never flown this thing. Does it have web? Does it have web? That is the question. Because I'm saying that you're not webbing, but I haven't seen you web through this entire game. Does this thing have web? No shit, it doesn't. 1 second. Okay, it does have web. Okay, your engine is not overheating. Use your web here. This plane isn't very strong to begin with. So you want to make sure... don't tell me I played this on 720 this entire time. But right now, you can go up. You're going 500, you are above him. Pretty sizable energy difference. And he will equalize you in the... in the long run, he will equalize the energy. So do not make his time easy and make that sooner than later. Because right here you have him. If you go horizontal here or you go up with your web down, with your web engaged, you will stall this guy out pretty handily. Here you pull in, you're not going to be getting this shot. So now you are giving him position while also dumping a lot of speed. So you are basically giving him two advantages in a single turn. You probably thought you were able to pull into that, but instead he is going to get a shot on you. He misses it, or he kind of sparks you, I guess. And now you're boned. Your throttle dropped even longer. And now you're going to try to go vertical. At this point I would say probably use your flaps, yeah, to kind of pull inside of it. But you're going too vertical. you're just gonna end up stalling yourself out. Yeah, now you don't have the energy to do this. You should have done this at the start. But now you can't, because you don't have any energy left. So you threw away everything into this one turn. And you might say, and it's great that you say it's your flaps, because that's very much how people think in this game. And that's not an insult. That is very much a learning experience. Because you might think, if I had used my flaps here, I would have been able to turn in. But instead, what you wanted to do was right here. That guy's dead. You're going for the yak. You see him pull over you, and you're pitching up here. You're already doing the right thing. Just keep pitching. Don't turn in front of him. Turn the other way. Turn to the left instead of to the right. And then, because right now you're kind of pulling in front of him. If you pull to the left now, he has to do another 180 to get guns on you. You can run that energy trap all day long and you still have a teammate nearby. This guy would have been dead right there. Sure, you can say maybe go straight up right here. Use your flaps to come back down. But do not, under any circumstance, when you have the energy advantage like this, go back down. It's a mistake I've made very recently, a few times. And it fucks you up. It really does. Because right here, you are never getting this shot. He is slower than you. You need to slow down much more than him. You probably think if you are in a 0 or something, you will get a shot here. But you're not. You are in a Key 61 Otsu. And that thing is not exactly a gamer mobile. So even if you get the shot here, the likelihood of him dying to these piss-ass guns is slim to none. So you don't want a full center of shot that you might not even get in the first place. This is what got you killed. This right here. It's not your flaps. Right here, he has so much position on you. He's probably going about 330, 340. So you're not even going 100 kilometers an hour quicker. And in the sustained, if you maneuver at all, and here you're just dumping more speed. You are still on 0% throttle, dude. This entire dive, you are 0 throttling. 0 throttling, or 10% I guess. Then you pitch up. You finally pitch up. Or throttle up, and then you pitch up. Now you're going 370. He was about 330, 340 when he was going up. You're now roughly on the same altitude. He's now faster than you, dude. Because you lose so much more speed. Look at this. Now sure, your teammate should have killed him there. But he didn't. That's not what this is about. And at this point it's done. He's on your 6, you're too slow to dodge. Yeah, and there you go. That's just... Yeah, you kind of cooked it at the start. It's not about the flaps, it's about getting into position altogether. Thank you all for watching. If you want to send these clips in, go to my Discord. If not, I'll see you in the next one.